As you may have heard, Zoom is probably the best free video conferencing software in the world. You can use it for business meetings, teaching any kind of class like school, fitness, art, church, or just video chat with your friends and family. This video is for everyone who has already created a Zoom account, downloaded the app, and wants to know tips and tricks for how to use it better. This video is not the basic how-tos, it's all the cool stuff that Zoom can do to solve the most common issues that I've noticed in my 3.5 years of using Zoom, and from polling people I know who are new to Zoom, I've noticed people have 4 common types of issues with Zoom, so these tips are going to be based on those 4 issues being helping people in your meeting who can't figure out how to use their Zoom features, sound issues, screen sharing issues, and internet speed issues, which affects both video and audio quality. My name is Danielle Glick. I'm the president and chief trainer at Wise Training Owl. I've been using Zoom exclusively since 2016 for all of my business meetings, and I teach online classes to adults who own small businesses, so I feel like I know fairly well how to use Zoom for both business meetings and teaching classes. I hope to earn your subscription today, so let's get into these 13 tips. My first section of tips for you is how to help people in your meeting who can't figure out how to use their own Zoom features. This is really common with anyone who's new to Zoom or is using Zoom from a device that they're not familiar with. Tip number 1 is everybody else does not necessarily see the same things that you see in your Zoom. So before you can help somebody find their feature in Zoom, I recommend explaining to them that what you're seeing on your Zoom might not be exactly the same features that they have in their Zoom. I find that just helps people be a little less frustrated when they can't find what you're looking for. And the reason why people have different Zoom features has to do with the version of Zoom they're using, the device they're using, the operating system, their own personal Zoom settings, and whether they're the host or the participant in the meeting, because hosts have more features than the participants. Tip number 2 is probably the most common problem that I've seen in Zoom, and that is that someone can't find the button to turn their microphone or their camera on or off. And the fastest solution is for the host to just do it for them. And the way you do that as the host is by clicking your Manage Participants button. And here you'll see I'm logged in on multiple devices so I can demonstrate this for you. But you have a microphone and a camera button next to every person's name. So you can either click to mute or unmute, just like that, which apparently popped open my chat window. And you can also click on More and ask them to start video. What happens when you click this is on their screen they get a pop-up message saying the host is inviting them to start their video, and they have to confirm it like yes or no. And that's just some privacy for them so that you can't just randomly turn on their camera and see whatever they're doing. Tip number 3 is that when you open the participants window and chat window, that does not open it for anyone else in your Zoom meeting. You'll have to explain to them where to find those buttons to open the participants or chat window in their own device. Keeping in mind tip number 1, which is that the buttons aren't in the same place in every version of Zoom. However, all versions of Zoom do have both the participants and chat window, so everybody can find it. There is one exception to this rule, and that is a host can put in their personal Zoom settings this particular option that will share their Zoom windows in their screen sharing. Tip number 4 is that you can change the number of videos on your screen and the size of the videos on your screen by using various buttons in Zoom that I'll show you right now. So the first thing you can do is when you've got a bunch of people's videos up, and right now I've just got 2 videos even though I've got one hiding, click on the gallery view, and that will switch you so that up to 49 videos will appear at once, assuming you've got that option checked in the settings. 49 videos at once will adjust automatically to show all at once on the screen. And if you just want to see a big video of whoever's talking, that's what speaker view is for. You see the green ring around this knows that my camera is currently the one talking, and so it makes me the big video. And if you want to make the videos even bigger, of course, you can use the Enter Full Screen button over here, and that will make that video fill the entire space. And same thing for gallery view, they'll fill the entire space. Now these 2 views, gallery view and speaker view, are also on the mobile app. And there you have to swipe left or swipe right, and that'll toggle between the 2 views. You can also get more of a full screen effect by tilting your device horizontal or vertical and see which one looks best with the most videos in it. Now there is another feature that has this floating window that you can drag anywhere, which is really helpful if you're screen sharing and that's covering up your scroll bar or something that you need to click. You can also dock this up at the top and it'll make all your videos appear horizontally, or dock it on the side and it'll go back to vertical. You also see there's a few extra little features in this. One button will only show the video of whoever's currently speaking, and that has adjustments on the corners to make it as big or small as you want it to be. And then there's this last one which just gets rid of all the videos entirely. And this is also displayed when you're sharing your screen, when you're seeing someone's computer screen here, and then you want to still see videos over here. You have your options of seeing everybody, just the speaker, or no one. The other nice thing is when you are doing the speaker view and you just got one video and it keeps switching between whoever's currently talking, you can pin it on just one person by clicking on their little dots in the top corner and then pin video. And that'll fix them as the active speaker view. This also works when you have this big speaker view like I've got now. It'll pin it on me so that if there was other people in the meeting talking, it would not be switching between all the videos in the big view. So that's how you can control how many people you're looking at and how big their videos are. My second section of tips is about sound issues. And tip number 5 is a really common situation. You're in the middle of a meeting and suddenly there's a disrupting noise like dog barking, phone ringing, whatever. And you just want to mute that noise as fast as possible. The quickest way to do that when you're the host is come into the participants window and click the button Mute All. And then decide whatever they're going to mute themselves or not, hit continue, and now it says current and new participants will be muted. And of course you can click the unmute all button as well. If you do want to just mute one particular person because they're the culprit, you can look real quick on the little microphone icons when I'm not mousing over it directly. See when I'm talking, the animation's going up and down because I'm actively speaking, and when I stop speaking, watch the animation stop. So that's how you can tell which person is the culprit and just mute that one person if you want. Tip number 6 is that you can improve the audio quality for yourself in your ears and for everyone else who's hearing your microphone by using any kind of headset that you already use to talk on your phone. So for example, I've got the Apple headphones that came with older models of an iPhone and it works really well. You can also use a Bluetooth speaker set. Anything that's got headphones and a microphone will work well with Zoom. And if you do use some wired headphones that have the inline mic like this one does right here, keep in mind that the closer this microphone gets to your mouth, the better the audio sounds for everyone else. So what you want to do is take the little slider thing and move it up as close as possible because that just keeps it a little bit closer to your mouth. The other thing that keeps it a little closer is if you turn the headphones, see, like just turn them like this, it moves it closer to my mouth, versus if it's pointing straight down, it's further away from my mouth. So kind of keep those two tips in mind. And if you don't think that your microphone has this little slider thing, I think when it comes from the factory, it's all the way at the bottom and it will look like that. And you might not have noticed that you could slide that little piece, like so. My third section of tips have to do with screen sharing issues. Tip number 7 is that when you go to share your screen and you get this window, make sure you check the box in the bottom left corner that says Share Computer Sound, and then hit your share button. If you don't click that button to share your computer sound, then what happens is when you're sharing any kind of video on your screen or you're typing something and there's feedback from the computer, those little audio cues don't get passed along to the people in your meeting and they don't get included in your Zoom recording. So make sure you check that little button and your sound will be shared with everybody. Tip number 8 is when you are screen sharing like I am now, and that toolbar gets in the way so that you can't click on anything, there's a lot of ways you can move this toolbar around. One, I recommend using this little arrow button in the green section here to move your dock to the bottom, because most controls for websites and apps and things are at the top, so I like to keep my Zoom toolbar at the bottom. The second way you can get it out of the way is literally just dragging it anywhere else on the screen so that you can get behind whatever and click on that. But let's say you're keeping it there and you just don't like it at all and you want to get rid of the whole thing. You can click on the More button and then click on Hide Floating Meeting Controls. And then that gets rid of it. The little thing on the screen says if you press Escape, it'll return the control back. So I just pressed Escape and that's how I got my toolbar back. Tip number 9. Let's say you're sharing your full desktop like I am right now, and in the middle of talking you realize that you need to go pull up an extra file or look something up somewhere else on your computer, and you don't want everybody in your meeting to see everything else on your computer while you're hunting for that thing. No problem. Zoom has this handy feature called Pause Share, which you see in the toolbar right here. When you click pause, you'll see your green bar here turns yellow and says your sharing is paused. Whatever was on your screen at the moment you hit pause is what everybody in your meeting will keep seeing while you go do whatever you want to do on your computer. So let's say you needed to pull up a different file or web page or whatever. So let's say I wanted to show this new thing and pretend like I had it pulled up the whole time. So now I can hit resume share, and whatever was on my screen at that moment is what people will now see. You can make it seem like you have this file pulled up the whole time. So that's a really tricky move that I love in Zoom. My fourth and final section of tips have to do with internet speed and reduced video and audio quality as a result. Tip number 10 is before you go into a Zoom meeting, I recommend testing your internet speed so you know if that is the problem or if it might be something else. All you do is go to speedtest.net in any web browser, and if you do this on a mobile device, it should prompt you to download their free app so that you can do the test from there. You just click the Go button, and while the test is happening, watch this dial because it'll fluctuate throughout the entire test, and you want to see what the low number is, because this is going to be what might give you a little blip of quality loss in your audio or video. And you will probably have a different number for your download speed and your upload speed. I've used internet all over the world, 36 different countries, over 100 different lodgings, and I've hosted Zoom meetings in a lot of them, and I've run the speed test from this site in a lot of those different places. So from a lot of experience, I can tell you that a download speed of 15 Mbps or higher is usually completely fine. When you get in the 8 to 15 download speed, you might have a few issues, just a few blips here and there, but it's usually fine. Below 8 download speed, you usually will have some sort of issue in an hour-long Zoom meeting. Now for upload speed, that is so that other people can hear and see your video, your audio, your screen sharing. Your upload speed needs to be at least a minimum of 1.5. Anything below 1.5, you will almost certainly have issues where they won't be able to see or hear you very well. Above 1.5, it's usually fine. But in a lot of places, if you're in a hotel or someone else is using your internet, it will affect your speed, and your speed is always constantly variable. So that's why I recommend do this test right before a Zoom meeting, and you'll know if it's going to be your internet that's the problem or maybe somebody else. Tip number 11. If you're home or any internet network where you control the other people who are sharing that internet with you, I recommend always asking everyone else on your Wi-Fi network to not use the internet during your Zoom meeting for any of the 3 types of activities that take up a lot of internet bandwidth and thus could degrade the video and audio quality in your Zoom meeting. Those 3 types of activities are 1, don't watch any online videos like Netflix, YouTube, Facebook videos. 2, don't stream any music like Spotify. And 3, don't play any online games of any kind. Tip number 12. If only one or a few people in your meeting are complaining about the audio or video quality, it could be their internet connection that's the problem. And there's a few things that really help to know in determining that. 1, if you're the host and your internet quality drops in the middle of the meeting, Zoom will flash a message on your screen that says something like internet quality unstable. If it's not doing that to you, then it probably is their connection, but don't accuse them of anything, just offer a few suggestions. One suggestion is to have them turn off whichever audio or video features they don't necessarily absolutely need to partake in your meeting. If they do need to speak and they do need to hear the audio, then you can invite them to phone into your meeting, and that way they can hear the audio and speak through the phone. Worst case scenario is I always recommend recording your meetings, and that's so that if anybody else does have issues with it, you can always refer them to watch the recording afterwards, so it's not like they really missed anything. Tip number 13. If you ever need to play a video on your screen and share it through Zoom, such as a YouTube video, and you want that video and audio quality to look as good for everybody else as it does for you, you need to try to not have it streaming live off the internet at the same time you're trying to stream it live through your Zoom screen sharing. That's just too much internet bandwidth for a lot of home internet connections especially. So the solution to this quality problem is to, if you can, try to download that video onto your computer's or your mobile device's hard drive and then play it from the hard drive instead of playing it off the internet. But I know that's not always possible with things like videos on YouTube, Facebook, Netflix, etc. So what you can do on a lot of those sites is get that video to preload all the data for the video before your Zoom meeting. So what I mean by this, when you look at the play bar on a YouTube video, you can see it color in as it loads the data for that video. So sometimes you have to let it play all the way to the end, and then you can drag the slider bar back to the beginning of the video and pause it there, and then wait for your Zoom meeting to start. That way that data was already preloaded before you went into Zoom. Let me know in the comments which tips you found most useful and what other topics you'd like to see me cover. Then please like this video, subscribe to our channel, click that notification bell, and share this video with others you think would appreciate it. If you did like this video, you'll probably enjoy our other online courses, which you can find on our website at wisetrainingowl.com. The link for that is in the description below. I hope to see you in another video soon.